People, possibilities.
From the den at Calco Spear downtown Paso Robles, here's Rich and Frank on People, Pints, and Possibilities.
People, puns, and possibilities.
Do it again, Jake. Jake, come out here and show them what you got here. Dude, exactly. Nailed it. I'm Rich.
I'm Frank.
And it's People, Pints, and Possibilities.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the den. We are on the People, Pints, Possibilities podcast. I'm here with my boy, Isiah. I'm the Vibe Titan. We're going to get to Isiah's nickname, but you'll notice Frank is not here. His daughter is graduating today.
It's a good reason to miss the podcast.
It's a good enough reason. And he did tell me, but I completely forgot. So here we are. That's all right. That means you'll have to come back anyways. We got to hear about some of your stuff. If you're out there, like, subscribe, comment, get the algorithm happening. Jake says you got to be out there. You got to be involved. You got to get engaged. It's like your community. I'm the Vibe Titan. I'm also the accelerator. Frank says I just add gasoline to everything and up the time frame.
Yeah, I see that.
And I'm hanging with Isiah. Isiah's a long time Paso guy. The roots run deep. His background goes all the way like the oak trees down into the earth of Paso Robles. We're going to hear about all of his philanthropy, his family, his dedication to the football team, his involvement on boards, his just attention to making Paso a better place, and then his wonderful family. Also, what's your nickname?
Trash Dog.
The Trash. Woo!
So, history behind the Trash Dogs. It started as a softball team. It's been going on in Paso. We're probably on like our 50th year of Trash Dogs. So my dad's OG crew played, going to all those games as a kid. And now at one point we had Trash Dogs 1, Trash Dogs 2. Now the old guys are all pretty old. So we're just back to Trash Dogs.
Just Trash Dogs.
Yeah. So I guess my dad would be the OG Trash Dog and I'd be Trash Dog Junior.
Are there any original Trash Dogs still flinging the softball out there?
So they do go to the Huntsman World Senior Games. That thing is in Utah.
Okay.
And they have different age brackets.
Yeah.
So they do still make their way out there on a yearly basis.
That's badass.
Yeah. But yeah, we myself, we have a couple other like the Molinas that their parents were in it. We're on that team as well. We know we've been sponsor for that softball league. It's got to be close to 40 plus years.
Dude, that talking about legacy, that's a legacy right there.
Yeah.
Did you watch the softball? I know it's fast pitch softball. Did you watch the softball playoffs? Championships?
We've been watching Cal Poly, for the
Cal Poly baseball is on fire right now.
Yeah, they weren't doing too good before I came in here.
Oh, they're playing.
They're playing West Virginia right now.
Oh man.
So we've been following more the baseball than softball this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you make it down to the games over there at Cal Poly?
I don't think I've ever been to a Cal Poly baseball game, but I know our employees go. A lot of people go. It's a really good time. We talk about it. Same thing with the Slow Blues. We're a sponsor of the Slow Blues, but we always talk about we need to go. Everyone has a great time.
I'm working on getting Coach Tim Skipper up here. He's going to come on the podcast. Well, I'm shouting it out to him. Some people know him. And so we're going to try to get him up here and get some players to sign some autographs or something.
Yeah, no.
Put pressure on them. Do a North County Meet the Mustangs or something.
Yeah. They both of those squads did a really good job, and I think the community really supports them and enjoys what they bring back to it.
Yeah, he was at Fresno State when I was just coming in to work with Central when I was coaching there. So he was helping out again after, he originally played there, and then he was with Pat Hill for a little bit, and some good coaches.
I was at the last clinic I was at for football this year in LA. I went to one of the Cal Poly DB coaches, and he just had great reviews about Tim, what he's doing for the community. They just opened the John Madden Center, which I would love to go visit because that looks awesome.
Dude, college athletics is big time now. It's big time money.
It is crazy.
That's cool. It's a good thing. It's a community draw. People go to it, so that's exciting stuff for the area.
Cal Poly football is awesome. You have to be a part of the Stampede Barbecue. I don't know if you I've been to that before.
You know, as a
but-
Sac State Hornet guy, you know, I kind of go in there with trepidation.
Yeah,
But no, I haven't. I haven't been to all that stuff, but there's some really cool stuff.
But yeah, no, it's awesome.
All right. Well, let's get to the history. Let's start to get to the Gomer family, and this goes deep. Let's start with your family history here a little bit.
All right.
All right. So the Gomer family runs deep. Let's just start talking about history and see where we get right here.
All right, so family history, it goes back to 1911 in Portland, Oregon. That's when my great uncle started a horse-drawn carriage, solid waste service. So then from there, my grandparents got their first contract in Portland in 1941. After my great-grandfather passed away in Oregon, the family moved down to Ventura in the 50s. Then from there, believe it or not, the family said Ventura was too small for all of them, so they had to split up. So at that time, my grandpa had a contract in Malibu. He had a contract in Pismo, and at that time, the clamshells in Pismo were crazy. They were so heavy that they snapped an axle of one of the trucks, and that's when my grandpa said, can't deal with this anymore. Got to get out of this contract. So he was tired of moving around, and there was, 2 available contracts in the state at that time that were for purchase, and he chose Paso in 1957. So,
1957.
So since 1957, my grandparents here, I live in the house that they moved into in the 50s. I have a piece of concrete that was dated 1960 on my front porch with my dad, my uncle, and my grandparents' signatures in it. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we've been lucky to be able to providing this service to the city of Paso since 1957. So next year will be our 70th anniversary.
Hold on. So, there's a couple things to unpack. First of all, your family said this town is not big enough for all of us in Ventura.
In Ventura, yeah. It was...
As in, they couldn't get along with each other, or they couldn't work together, or I think we're setting up a...
There was my family and another family, and I guess there just wasn't enough work for both of them to continue to operate the contract together. So they just kind of had to split up.
How did your grandpa? Did he know about this area from travels, or do you know?
I don't think so. I don't
just kind of cruised up and.
Yeah, I think it was just an opportunity, and it's really in our industry. I don't think it was that uncommon, in back of the day, where you kind of had this that was your career, and you just had to pick between the opportunities that presented itself at that time.
And do you know the reason they chose that field, or has anyone talked about that? Was it just a twist of fate, or
because my family is so old.
Yeah.
My grandparents died when I was 10, so I don't know a lot of those stories. My dad and uncle would have a better understanding of what decisions were there, but they were also really young at that time too.
Yeah, and just working, right? I'm sure it was you weren't sitting around asking about how this started. You were just working.
Yeah, again, the family industry for the solid waste industry is pretty unique because my dad and my uncle, they worked the route. As kids, they were asked to do stuff it was a truly family thing. Myself growing up, it's not necessarily legal now in California, but I would be on a front loader with my uncle operating the route. Back in the day when we didn't have all the recycling and organic services, my dad would go and pick up. I would be in the back of his truck, and we're going through cans, loading up the trash on the way to work on certain days. So it was just something that you're always involved with. When, school wasn't in session, I was at the office putting stickers on the desk, just buying time. No technology, no phones, nothing. Couldn't watch anything back in the day. So you were just literally at work. That was to kill time. I showed up to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You just did it. You didn't know any different.
Yeah, growing up, I was either with one of my grandparents or at work, or with my uncle on the route. It was just it's just one of those things. I know my dad has a little bit of a complicated history just because it was rough. I think in his generation, always were being required to work, and the trash industry was not how it is nowadays. Wasn't really looked as necessarily as a positive thing as it is now. So he didn't come back to work until the 80s when my grandpa gave him that ultimatum where like, I'm selling the company unless you come back home. So, and he chose to come back home. So I'm really grateful that he did.
So when you're saying that, you mean that it wasn't necessarily, not that it's glamorous now, but that was a job that wasn't looked upon as like a high quality job back then, or just
no. Yeah.
There's like a lot of white collar stuff, as you think back to the 50s, it was like, I'm obviously paraphrasing what I know from, but you see a lot of the people in the suits and, they're doing those things, and the business was, people were door to door salesmen and selling things and a lot of things like that. So, the trash wasn't necessarily a desirable job, I'm guessing.
I mean, again, it's tough work. I mean, it's gotten easier with technology nowadays with the automated trucks. Those are the ones that we service residentially where, you can stay in the cab of the truck most of the times, pick up the containers, drops them and loads them in there. But back in the day, I mean, it was really, really hard work. Was
it legitimately like hanging on a truck and getting off the truck?
Yeah, you're talking about rear loaders where if you had 1,000 customers that day, I mean, that was 1,000 containers were picked up by that one person. And that is how the waste industry was, just literally labor, going from household to household, picking up this material, putting it in the back of a truck. So it was tough work back in the day.
I had never even thought of that until you just brought it up.
Yeah. I mean, you can look. I mean, obviously, I know the family history, but they had these huge, garbage truck like metal containers. They had a hook that went over your shoulder, and you would be like walking down the street with this thing stuck to your back and throwing stuff in there, and then you had to climb up to the bed of the truck and dump it in.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then walk it back, put it back.
Yeah, it was. I mean, really tough job.
And you're basically almost walking the route the whole time if they're right next to each other, right? And
I mean, you have helpers, that are in there, but I mean, the OG back in the day, routes. I mean, those drivers were in and out of the vehicles all day, driving, collecting that stuff. And luckily with technology nowadays, you have side loaders, rear loaders, front loaders, and it helps out on that. But I mean, still today, I mean, heavy containers are still no joke.
Yeah, I mean, even out here at ours, they still got to pull them out, push them back in, and do all that stuff too. Yeah. You have a good crew. So with your dad, he came back. Was he doing a different job in Paso, or was he living somewhere else? Or
my dad was living in Mexico at the time, but he. My dad's, history would take a whole entire time to do, but, he was at UCSB playing Division I football, graduated from there because he also went into the draft for Vietnam, so he had a couple years off in between there. But then after there, he was a correctional officer in LA. From there, he moved out to New Mexico with his friends from UCSB, was a counselor in New Mexico, and then that's when he kind of got the call to either come home or it's gone.
This is not going to be here anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He ends up. How long does he work with your grandpa until he takes over officially the whole time?
What's the unique thing about my family is my grandpa showed up every single day to work until the day he died.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, he would every single day he would be there. He would be there in the mornings, listen to some Rush Limbaugh on the radio. But every single day he was there, and the one day he didn't come into work, he wasn't feeling well, and then he was gone that same day.
No kidding.
So, and my dad's the same type of guy. I mean, he's going to be taking steps back now at where he's at in the company, but he's still going to be there every single day. And it's ultimately my goal to try to live that same path. Yeah.
Well, I just knowing you and the time that I've known you, I appreciate about you. You take a lot of pride in that, and then you take it very serious. There's a lot of people. I just want to say one thing that I admire about you is there's a lot of people that get distracted in life about all these other things, and you're just really goal oriented, and you don't accept distractions to the things that you find important, and that's commendable.
Yeah, being in that family company, you learn a lot. Having a family business, growing up in it, so you kind of learn at a young age of like what worked, what didn't work, where the stresses come from running a family business. So my whole entire life, even though my mom and dad, they didn't force me to, they let me pursue like whatever I wanted to be. They were going to support me to do that. But growing up, the older I got, the more I realized how special our family was, how important it was to continue the family legacy. And it allows you that opportunity to, be part of something special. And I think all those little lessons, my dad's funny joke that we have between us is my dad taught me a lot of what not to do.
Yeah.
So the Cal Poly, motto, learn by doing, he kind of would tell me what learn not to do growing up. So I took a lot of those life lessons to heart.
He showed you the way.
Yeah. So I kind of was always, groomed in that weird way of how to learn, how to be. And just, again, the lessons from my grandparents to my parents really shaped me a lot growing up on how to try to be this good person that I try to be every day.
Let's get to you. So from your dad. So was your dad a Bearcat grad too?
My dad graduated in 1966.
1966. All right. So you got the Bearcats through and through.
Yep.
And then you come up through the system, right? You're coming up, you're playing sports.
Yep.
And then you're at the high school. And so let's just talk about, what stands out there that, stuck with you from all that and just growing up. Anything else?
Yeah, I think the unique thing, and my dad feels the same way, whether it's Mark Perry, what Paso does a really good job of with our size and our community is you really make lifelong friends. His friend group is, still a group that he has today. My friend group, we called ourselves the Fellas. We sat on the same bench, little planter at the high school every single day. And we were always together. And you just grow up in this town together, from a really young age. And that friend group is always there for you, no matter what.
It just moves from the bench at the high school where you ate lunch to the golf course.
Yeah, no matter what,
Right? That's cool.
A good portion of the group is out of town now, but we still got some guys here and still working and living, and we're all lucky to still be here.
Who are those guys? Give them a shout out.
Oh, Nick's still here. Rob's still here. We had Dylan and Casey. They're gone. Clint's gone, but we have, it's probably about half and half of the group that stayed. John, JR, they're all still here. So it's probably like half of us we're able to stay in town, and other half have their opportunities to take them other places in the state.
Yeah, and you still stay in touch fairly regularly.
Yeah, we still have that group message, whether it's on Instagram or on the phone that just randomly pops up all the time.
Nice.
It's still there. Yep.
So you graduate from there. You go through there. You win a championship.
So we in 06 for football, we got the Pac-5 league championship, so that was a big deal. Every time you can win league, and our league at that time was a really good accomplishment. But from there, I went to Cal Lutheran, continued to play football. When I was there at Cal Lutheran, we won three out of my 4 years. We won a SCIAC championship.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to be that top dog.
What did you take from your Cal Lutheran time, just going through college and being, through that pivotal time when you're young?
Yeah, I think why I think being a student athlete is so important, and why I believe in it so much, is you really learn a lot of hard work and discipline. Coach McEnroe, one of my mentors, the way he ran the Cal Lutheran program, bringing the team together, having everyone involved, have everyone a role. The side funny story is when I first wanted to go to Occidental, but that that opportunity, talking to the coaches and visiting LA, I know like wasn't really right for me. Going to Thousand Oaks, it was one, it's the Oaks and Paso Robles, so like natural connection right there. The two places I've lived in my life are just the Oaks and Paso Robles. So that worked out randomly, but it just reminded me a bigger version of Paso. Like we were in, off to the side of Thousand Oaks. Everyone was very nice. The people everywhere was really nice, but we didn't have a coach. Like when I was trying to figure out what Cal Lutheran was, like it was just the players of the team texting and calling each other and letting them know. So like our recruiting class at Cal Lutheran, there was like 8 of us that showed up. And then
did they fire the coach before, or what happened?
The coach left, and it just took them a while to fill that position. And Coach Mack was an alum at Cal Lutheran, and immediately, right when we got on campus, I was just blown away of all the organization and plan that he had. That first year that I was there, we won a share of the SCIAC championship that hadn't been done in forever. Because for football guys, they would know like Cal Lutheran has like won an NEIA championship in the 70s. We have a bunch of Hall of Fame football coaches and players, guys that played in the NFL from those teams. We have a bunch. I mean, it's probably close to like 500 coaches that have come out of Cal Lutheran, whether it's from the NFL, college, to the high school ranks. So like it's a really proud school, both, and a lot of, because it's D3 football, you're there because you care. Like there's a lot of passion. Like no one's, you don't get a scholarship. You're not getting, there was no, paying money. There's no endorsements.
You're volunteering your time, really.
So yeah, but getting back to it at the one is, when you have 5 o'clock in the, workouts in the morning, and then you go to your classes, and then you have, a long practice, and you still have classes after it, that grind of that additional workload that you have to do in college, like just really, it teaches you a lot of how to manage your time, your responsibilities, to put in all that effort. And then the biggest, I think, turning point for us of the program is when, after I was a freshman, I came back home, and there was a group of guys that stayed at campus throughout there and all worked out together. And when I got back, I just realized how far I had lost. Like everyone that stayed there, they got so much bigger, they got so much stronger. Just all of their skills were just so far past, myself that one year. So then those following years, the group just kept getting bigger and bigger. It was year round, that group. We stayed together, we partied together, we ate together. We like, whether it was the movies, whatever it was, like that football team, we all stayed together. We took care of each other. And then on top of it, it was all the extra workouts. It was everything that you can possibly do on top of what was just required. And I think that was the main reason why my junior and senior year, we were able to win the SCIAC championships. And then I think they won that in another back-to-back years, which was one of like the most historic runs the program itself has gone on since then.
Yeah. No, that's cool. There's something to be said for consistency. People like they always use whoever I'm listening to, like some of the best speakers, motivators. They always bring up this point, like if I was working out and I just worked out, 1 hour a day for 4 days a week, or I worked out, one time for 4 hours, it's the same exact amount of time, but the results are drastically different, right? It's just that day in, day out, consistent work that changes who you are, and you guys are working not only on your body, but you're working on your chemistry of your team at the same time, right?
Yeah, and the more you have people buy into it. Like I would take summer school. A lot of guys would work, but I would take summer classes so that way during football season I would have less units, so that helped out. But again, we worked out in the morning, we worked out in the afternoon every single day of the summer.
Nice.
And it showed when we got to, your spring balls and your summer program before the season started. Everyone that would participate in it was very noticeable in our program.
And we'll get to it in a little bit. We're going to finish the people part, but that's going to tie directly into how you are as a coach. I guarantee you carried a lot of that with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no surprise. I've talked to the kids about it, but the teams that I have been on that have won at a high level, it's always about like how much more did you give, really? I mean, my junior year when we won the Pac-5, it was every day after practice we kept practicing, voluntarily. In college, it was what we talked about. And now when we had that 2014 championship, guys just constantly were working to get better. And we obviously had a talented group, so that helped a lot. But it's usually, at least back in the day, it was the teams that put in the most work, had a higher chance to succeed at the higher level.
Yep. The beautiful thing about athletics, we both have a passion for it. Doing your absolute best, being as weight trained as you can be, being the best team you can be, guarantees you nothing. But it gives you the best shot. But we do know this: if you don't do those things, I don't know a champion that isn't together, that isn't well prepared, right? Isn't weight trained, isn't put together. Those teams, I've never seen a team that wins that doesn't have those components.
Yeah, no. Now since I've been coaching since 2011, like you have those two sides. You have teams that are really talented, and a lot of times, especially in the high school level, if a team has just way more talent than you, it's going to be hard to win those games. But the team that does all the right little things constantly throughout the year, you're going to be able to put yourself in a position to be competitive in those talent games. So. Yeah. And that's what I think Bearcat football has always done a really good job. We scheduled teams that are, bigger, stronger than us, and this is the test. Like how do all those little things that we preach every single day, how does that match up to a team that you shouldn't be able to compete with? And Bearcat football, as far as I have grown up, has always played teams we probably shouldn't for that reason.
Yeah, you guys came in when I was coaching at Central. We played you. And you guys beat us a couple of years right there when we were switching over and coming in. But you were always playing big teams. You were playing some of the teams down in LA a lot, pretty regularly. And
we play some crazy
big people.
We play some crazy teams. And now being the DC, I wish we didn't, because it scares you a little bit, but it's still part of that Bearcat pride, that Bearcat philosophy. Where this year, we play Bishop Diego, St. Joe, and AG to start the year. So those are three crazy big asks for us to do. But at the same time, like Bearcat football, we try to teach. Our biggest thing right now is character, attitude, and toughness. And we're trying to teach these kids not to be scared. It doesn't matter that you're supposed to lose this game. That's why we work the fundamentals. We do all the little things right. Scheme is, one thing, but it's all those little tiny things that hopefully if we do all those little things right, it doesn't matter how much better that they are than you should still be able to compete and give it a good show.
Yep. And AG's been on a roll lately, huh?
AG is crazy. St. Joe is crazy.
St. Joe is on a roll, yeah. My boy Kyle Biggs is killing me. I got to get him over here. He's the Central coach. He said he's going to be better this year, and they won the D1 state title last year. Shoot, yeah, that's scary. Everyone's back.
Yeah, and
football's a tough game. You need both. You need the X's and O's, the Jimmys and the Joes, and the relationships on top of it. Yeah,
yeah.
What's the outlook for you guys this year?
I think we've had some rough years. The last 2 years, I was the freshman DC, JV DC, so now I'm the varsity DC. So Coach Carroll and I, we put, I think, a lot of time and effort into this season with the kids that we had. They have been absolutely killing it in the weight room, doing all the little things right. So it's definitely looking up. The league's a lot different this year. We play a lot different in that back end, so we should be really competitive. I think we'll league. We actually have some legit shots to win some games, and I know it's been tough to these last few years. The competition that we've been playing, it's been a hard ask for the kids to accomplish it. But this year, I'm feeling really good about it.
All right. Well, the good news is you get to play the games, and we get to find out, right?
Yeah. We have some good. For people that don't know, we're playing Templeton this year. I believe that's a home game.
Oh, we had JR on here. That's your boy, right?
Yep. So, yeah, JR's the OC. I'm the DC. We grew up together, play football together. So that's going to be a fun little match.
Oh, North County bragging rights.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Which sideline are you standing on?
Well,
That was a joke. That was a joke because people were on you because you helped Templeton.
Yeah, and the playoff. And
He's a Bearcat. This guy, just to set the record straight, he was just helping him out.
Yep. Coach Clough had a situation that happened. Coach Clough is one of my mentors, a person I looked up to. So during playoffs, I kind of helped fill him a void for a couple weeks and fill his shoes the best I could. But
some people thought you were jumping ship, but it was not true. This guy's Bearcat, through his veins. So
I have some green from the company, so I was able to throw on some green for a couple weeks. And Templeton, again, it's all in North County. All of us coaches, we all really appreciate and care for one another. So even though we're rivals at heart, historically, what any Bearcat or coach would always say, we want the Templetons and Tascaderos to win every single game except for us. That's when we're competing against the SLO and AGs and the Santa Maria schools. Like we always want North County to win those games.
Yeah,
no matter what.
It speaks to your character that you would go help those guys out and lend a hand, and that's kind of the way
and again, they would do the same thing for us. And that's just what North County, our values, what we mean to each other.
Yep. Let's tie together, I guess, the coaching we got on the tangent because we both love football. Let's go back. So you graduate from Cal Lutheran. What was your degree in?
Business management.
All right,
yep.
And you go right into the family business.
Yep. Had a little time to move all my stuff out of the college apartment and immediately started working. Was on a country reel loader for the time being until we figured out what I wanted to do. From there, the recycling coordinating was a big thing, so that's what I learned. I did waste audits for customers because that's when a lot of the state's diversion stuffs were kicking in with the education and outreach. So then I went from there. Then I really got into human resources, got my certificate into that, which is a really weird passion of mine that we always talk about on the boards.
It's almost creepy.
And then from there, again, just learning different things, learning about a profit sharing plan, managing that for the company, becoming the COO of the company, and just really trying to learn as much as I can to follow my dad's footsteps to be the CEO one day.
Dude, you enjoy things that take extreme focus? You do.
I guess so.
Did you know that about you?
Yeah, so I have
just named like highly sensitive, like focused areas. You just threw them around like they were nothing.
In the company, like my first 10 years, my biggest thing that I tried to do and learn, it was just learn as much as I could. So, I took a ton of classes. I had a prior learning membership and, would go to seminars all the time. And and that's how I treat football as well. Like any clinic I could go to, any class that I could go to learn, that's just how I grew and matured a lot, just learning by professionals in their craft. And that just kind of carried me, for those, first 10 years of my employment, just learning as much as I possibly can. And with HR, it is, in California especially, it's like how you get sued, right? Like that's like the biggest thing, and how to implement programs and procedures on to best protect, your employees and your business, to make sure off of the, you go to the labor law thing and there's 10, 15 different laws and new things that you have to comply with. So it's just, you immediately have to, again, implement policies and procedures, get signatures from employees, document everything, how you handle every situation. There's a procedure to follow it. And it just became like a weird passion of mine to check that box. And it's something that I weirdly appreciate doing.
Did you always find you had an attention for detail when you were young? Because those things all demand it.
No. Again, I wouldn't say I was the best student growing up, but somewhere in college, I think it kind of clicked for me. And whether it was because I was a late bloomer, whatever it was, just that bug in the back of my head of learning as much as you possibly could, it just took over somewhere in that time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been the biggest, whether again it's football learning or whether it's work, like there's a ton of people that have helped me through that process where, again, from my coaching life to my professional life, and you just take all those life lessons that you possibly can and kind of make it your own and follow in those footsteps. And then if you do the right thing the right way, usually, you'll have a good outcome from it.
Was there any mentor that stands out in there or anyone that impacted you?
I mean, a lot of my football coaches, I think what football coaches do is, they just shape you to like find out who you really are. One story I would say that I had a moment to reality. So in college, I was desperately like trying to be a starter. I played special teams, and one of the guys that I look up to, he was just like a monster, right? Like he was a jerk on the field, and he like flipped that switch. And he like brought it every single time. So like I showed up that one day with my mindset like I'm gonna be like him. I ended up being such a big jerk that day that by the end of it, Coach Mack, is grabbing me by the face mask, yelling me in my face. He's like, that's not who you are. That's not who you are. Like, I was a caring guy. I was a guy that brought up my teammates, encouraged my other teammates to do it. You don't put people down. And he helped me realize in that situation, like, it's okay just to be like a good person, and be in that role. Like, you don't have to be someone else. Mm-hmm. And then for my work side of things, I had a family that we visit every single year. It's from Edco, it's the Edberg family. And every single year, since, I was younger than 10, we would go down to San Diego. He would take me to one of their facilities, and watching all of his employees, him being a really old guy at the time, but they would take off their gloves. They were always so honored to see Ed Burr. They would, whatever they're doing, they would drop what they're doing and go thank Ed Burr for that opportunity. And it was something that it just showed, like, when you care about your employees so much, you give them the opportunity to exceed, like, you get all that love in return. So that was really, again, and my parents were like that. So it's like why we're so close with them, because that's how we treat our employees. That's how we treat the community. And we always just try to do the right thing. What's best for our employees, what's best for the community. And like, that's how we make our business decisions.
And the people part, and obviously HR, what characteristics are you looking for in a great team member for you guys?
So again, we're pretty simple. You got to be here. Like that's the thing, because
show up. All they have to do is show up.
If you have a dedicated employee that shows up every single day, that is, I think, really the key to success, because we have a really good managerial staff. We will give you all the tools, the training, the opportunities to succeed in our work. Like, it's really that simple. But the hardest obstacle that I think people have, because it's a tough job, right? You're waking up super early in the morning. But if you show up every single day and you kind of follow our guidelines and all of our principles that we put into place, you can make a long-term career out of it. These last few years, we've had employees that retired at 27, 25 years of service, 31, I think 33. And those are all guys that, they showed up every single day. They were on time. They did all their punches. They operated the truck safely. They took time out of their day to provide great customer service. And in return, we gave them all of the tools and necessary things to have them be successful as well.
It's crazy you say that, because you're right. It's like, you can take something simple like the podcast today. Frank was like, I forgot I have his stuff going on, or I forgot. But you have to just keep, like, what's a successful podcast is just keep doing shows, keep getting better, keep showing up, because it becomes so easy to be like, oh no, we should cancel for this reason, or oh no, we have this going on, we should cancel. And those are how things fail, right? And show up and do the work. Even if you're a kid on the team, don't miss a weight room session. Don't miss a gym session with your team. Don't miss a practice. Don't miss, because just showing up to everything will make all the difference in the end.
I think it does. Again, part of our Bearcat 10 is, be here, be on time. Like that was a big thing. When, I was chair of the chamber, I talked a lot about Coach Stansberry's Bearcat time. Like you don't just show up for something. You're there 15 minutes early. You're there, you're prepared. And it's part of just that learning system where if you can be there on time, and then you can start checking off all those other boxes, but you got to be there.
Yep.
That's
number one.
That's number one.
Yeah. What's number two?
Be on time.
There you go.
Yep.
All right.
It's really that simple. And I already told you about this, but what I was going to pick Frank's brain today was one of the big books and, life lessons I learned shaping me as a leader was kind of that SEAL model where they give ownership. Like every person in that squad has ownership of their job. They don't have to be the best at it. You don't have to be the strongest, the fastest. But if you give your employees ownership into their position, you give them the tools, you give them the support, we fully believe that that's what creates, a really good customer service and the ability to perform at a high level.
And do you find what is the piece that you think they take? Or do they take a lot of pride because it's theirs, because you're not stepping on them? What do you think's happening there?
I think historically have been one of the safest companies in California. And I think a lot has to do is, again, we allow ownership to the guys. If they need to change the route, if they need to resequence it, if they want to avoid certain areas at certain times during the day, we allow them to make all those decisions. We put 100% faith into our employees to provide as best customer service that we can at the safest way. Because the number one thing, Mark starts every safety meeting every month with our number one goal is to have you come to work safely and return to your family safely. So, yeah. And that has nothing to do with, working at a certain time at a certain pace, because when you speed things up, a lot of times when you have accidents is when that road is blocked and you have to go around the other way. And then that's where that low hanging wire is, or that's where that turn is that you didn't realize it was a blind spot, right? Like it is okay to be slower and safer and go through that process rather than putting all these constraints on your employees and telling them what to do. And that is the model that I think my grandparents to my dad to myself have always learned, and why I think we're successful is because we put 100% of what we have back into our employees.
So through all of that, what is your craft? What's the thing that brings you energy when you do it?
It's it's just my family legacy, I would say. Through who I am today is, from my grandparents, obviously moving here, but my grandparents were involved in the community. My grandma was one of the people that helped found bringing the Boys and Girls Club here. My grandpa was in associations and groups. My dad, he coached 20 years of youth football, was part of the Boys and Girls Club and a bunch of other boards. So it was a natural thing. It's just like what our Gomer family does. Like that's kind of the standard. And I think I have upped the bar a little bit because I probably do a little too much. We have a state regulatory and legislative group that I'm involved with. I have another federal group that's Washington, California, and Oregon. Served on the chamber for 6 years. Workforce development, I'm the chair for San Luis Obispo County. And then on top of it, we have our San Luis Obispo Garbage Men's Association that I have been going to since I have been a kid, and then coach football and golf for the high school. So it is a lot, but that's also how I grew up. That's what my grandparents did. That's what my dad did. So that's what I'm doing.
How do you find time with 3 kids and a beautiful wife and all those different things that you're committed to, including your profession?
Yeah, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot, and I think my weird superpower, but also curse is I'm really able to just be focused in when I'm in those little sections. Like when I'm at work, I'm focused on the tasks that I have to do with the work. I go for that meeting. Another switch kicks on. Then you go to that meeting, then you go back to work, then you get ready for football practice. And I'm just constantly I have that ability to just like lock in on those opportunities throughout the whole entire day. And I don't know where that kicked in, as I was growing up and learning. I did go to a lot of time management classes, through prior.
Right.
That really helped
Honing
me.
your craft, right?
And again, and I think I showed you my Google Mail,
You
organization
did.
chat.
The color coded. I still use that.
Yeah, you gotta. And again, those are all just classes that I learned from someone else, where you're able to how you organize everything, how you schedule your stuff for the whole entire day. You have to, when you do a lot, you have to be able to create all those little hacks, throughout your whole entire day. And if you do that, then it becomes really manageable, and it doesn't take away from one another. And again, from what, lessons I learned from my dad is that when I'm home, like that's family time. And even though, some work stuff comes up, you deal with it, but you just try to, whatever I'm doing at that time, I try to just give 100% to that moment. And I think if you're able to do that, then you can be able to manage all those things throughout the year.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, because you don't show up unprepared to anything that I'm at. So, given all these things that you committed yourself to, you still don't let anything slip. Was there a moment when you came to realize, like, I'm really good at this?
I think the chamber was a good test. But at the same time, growing up, I was listening to K. Perel, my dad being at the city council meeting. So, like growing up, being a 4-year-old listening to K. Perel, way late at night for it. You go to going to the San Luis Obispo garbage bins dinners where it's just like a normal board. You take minutes, you approve stuff, you have your first and second. So I was uniquely conditioned for these type of things because I was already involved in it, my whole entire childhood. But going to the chamber, being the chair during COVID and really not being super prepared for it. Bye,
Come on
Goldie.
over.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Goldie.
There
My
you
girls
go.
love you.
See? He won't be long. We won't keep him long, I promise.
I'm trying to break the record. We're gonna go 3 hours. We're gonna make this Joe Rogan podcast.
You're efficient too. Hey, and you're efficient. You're getting a lot of info in there. Yeah.
So, but back to it. Just having that chamber moment, because again, being involved in the San Luis Obispo Workforce Development Board, there's it's a lot of community members in there, but for the chamber, it's a lot of people that I grew up with, or with Rob. I was his bat boy when he was playing on the Giants men's league team growing up. So the chamber was a different experience, being a younger guy, being with a lot of older adult peers in it, and managing that board with Gina at that time. It really maybe was the time where I was like, yeah, I can totally handle this and do it. I learned a lot from the Workforce Development Board, because that is a board where you have to follow the Brown Act. It's a legislative body. So I had a lot of previous training on how to run that and being involved in that. And once you kind of have the Brown Act standard for a board, and you get that down with, calling for public comment, closing public comment, and, having that just in the back of your mind throughout that, it really just allows you to, manage and run these things efficiently.
Yeah. Explain, what is the type of stuff you cover from the workforce development, meetings?
So the Workforce Development Board in San Luis Obispo County, we manage our contractors that, we get the federal WIOA funds. You have the state grants that you possibly do, but that's your AJCC, your American Job Center. So, people go there whether you're unemployed or trying to get upskilled. And a lot of people, whether it's youth or adult, you could have a situation where you maybe been incarcerated before, or there's, something that has happened in your life, and the board manages those funds to get those people, better opportunities, whether it's, going to classes, helping with your resume. But that board looks after the procurement of contracts, and we're able to, you see all the metrics of what you hit through the contract, and you're just, working with the contractor to make sure that all of the plans throughout the county, you're meeting all those goals.
Yeah, so you're meeting the requirements. So another technical,
Yeah, and that one's definitely
body.
a lot more complicated. And I mean, I'm running the meetings, but staff they do all the hard work. They're the ones that put all the time and energy working with the contractors, and our board is really just the oversight that we're there to make sure to best manage the programs as we can. So
Yeah, you're involved in all of it. How and your business is involved in a lot of technical pieces with government as well. So you have to be up on what's going on with the government, right? Local and state.
yeah, it's local, state. I mean, federal. I mean, California usually trumps everything, but you always have to the crazy thing about, I've talked about it, I think I got a Wake at Paso when we did it back in the day. We have anywhere from 60 to 80 solid waste related bills a year that get introduced. So not all of them pass. Not all of them are as crazy as the other ones, but like the biggest ones that we've had is the 1383, which requires all commercial customers and residential customers. So you have to have the 3 cans. Like you have to divert your 3 materials. You have to put your food waste now in your green container. That was a big rollout, through the whole entire state. And a lot of places in the state didn't have those programs. So that's why that came out. I mean, there was places in the state that, the color containers were all over the place. That law made it where it had to be the gray, blue, and green. There's all these different things. SB 54 is going to be a big one for the recycling market that's coming out, but there's always something that is impacting our business. CARB is going to be a huge one for us. They are trying their best to have our whole entire fleet be electric.
Hold on, who is that? Who did you say? CARB?
CARB, yeah, the Air Resources Board.
California Air Resource Board.
Yeah,
they're the ones that shut down practice too when the particles are too high, or how does that work?
There's a lot of stuff.
All right. So they want your fleet to be all electric.
Yeah, they want it to be ZEV, zero emission vehicles.
So every fleet in all of California?
Pretty much.
What the hell? How are we gonna? We're getting on a whole nother tangent, but we can't plug all this stuff in because they shut my power down when it gets hot.
I mean,
how will you power up?
Here's the craziest thing, and it's why I think family companies like mine are dying. When these things happen every single year on top of each other, all that pressure's on to management to now rework your whole entire operation. Like for 1383, the companies that didn't have those programs in place, that was a really big ask for them to do it, and it's a lot easier for a lot of these multi-generation families to go. So it's I can't take this anymore. Yeah. Right. And sell.
So explain that, because I love that you said that. And I think just for people, just layman's terms, they pass a new bill, and that bill potentially, thank you, Jake, could impact your organization by just
operation and financial things. So what has to happen for us is, we're the bad guys from it, because we have to go in front of city council, have to do a rate study, through our contract, and then let them know your costs now have to go up, from your commercial and your residential account, because we have to comply with all these new laws. And if, or maybe the better time is when, this CARB thing goes in place, that would mean right now the technology for a garbage truck to be electric, there are some out there and operating, but for every one of our trucks, you probably need 2 or 3 of our trucks to do that same workload. The trucks are twice as much. The infrastructure to put in is over $250,000. So I mean, if and when these things went into place, I mean, everyone's contracts are going to have to be substantially increased. I mean, it all goes back to, for us to comply with the California law, it all goes back to, spending all of that capital for your company, and that all goes back to the customers, which is this really unfair situation that California just keeps putting us in all the time.
Yep, and then taxes have to go up to pay for that if you raise your stuff, and so it's on and on and on, right?
And there's no grants for it. You know, like there's nothing you can get back from the state for it. You know, all the I mean, again, our trucks are very expensive now, and they would be doubled if we have that. And again, I don't even know how it would work in our county. Like, again, if you go out into the country, I mean, there are dirt roads and hilly, and how does an electric vehicle with short mileage and, you know, capacity even be able to finish the route on that capability?
Is that why you would need? Why would you need 2 or 3 to cover one? Is
So,
that because
again,
of the distance, or
It's a weight and capacity thing. So when you line a garbage truck with all of these batteries, the weight is substantially heavier, and the range is not as same as what, like, we run CNG to a lot of other places, you know, diesel, like the range is not the same. So to do the same route and it being that vehicle, you would need to have more employees and more trucks to do that one current truck's route.
and are you finding that would totally make sense? Are you finding that bigger corporations or investment firms, who's taking over your type of businesses now? Is that going?
Yeah, they're all publicly traded companies for the most part. You know, your Waste Management, your Waste Connections, your Republics, you know, all the ones that are on the stock market, they're the ones that, you know, eat up all of those small family businesses that, you know, can't take it anymore, really.
Do you know how many family businesses there are in California that are still doing it? Do you know how many are there?
I mean, a part of our association in California, we still have a really strong showing. Part of my California Waste Hauling Council that I'm on the executive committee, I mean, we still have a lot of small private companies that are on there. Then in Northern California, there's even a lot more. But I would say out of these, in the last 5 years, I've known of probably like 10 families that have gone out of it in the Northern California area. And it's, you know, sad to see, just because a lot of those families have, you know, histories like myself and my family. And it's sad to see that, you know, every situation is different. It's hard to generalize it. And a lot of times that next generation doesn't want to deal with it, right? So, you know, from what their grandparents to, you know, their family continued, you know, so sometimes those kids, you know, chose not to follow that path.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different stuff. It's not all just what California puts on you, but it's a lot different than what, you know, my grandparents had to deal with. That's for sure. Are
you finding that cities do any cities own their own trash and waste?
Yeah, there's still that throughout the state.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's again, I mean, some cities, I mean, again, how they operate, if you have a larger city with a larger staff, it's, you know, easier for them to maybe manage and go. But I believe the metrics would say, you know, private companies can usually do it with a lower rate, just because again, you don't have to deal with the crazy prevailing wages and, you know, all those other stuff that a lot of the cities have to deal with, on top of, you know, all their operations, the pensions, and just historically, I would say that private companies can usually do it a little more efficiently. But in our industry, again, I don't think there's any right or wrong way for like your operations. It's just really who can provide really good customer service. And I think a city or a private or a public can all do that in certain spots.
Do you get together? Do you have lobbyists at the state? Do you have to pay for your own? How does that work?
So yeah, our California Waste Hauling Associate Council, we do have lobbyists, and they're the ones that are in the Capitol on a daily basis, you know, working with the Senate and Assembly. And all they're trying to do is just, you know, telling our side of the story. And hopefully most of the things, like, they don't, they still go through, but hopefully they take our input from all of our members. And, you know, you have to talk to your senator and assembly people and just tell them, like, how this will affect you, and if there's any way to, you know, potentially find that middle ground.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. When I'm on my WCRC board, that's the California, Oregon, and California spot. And then that's when we do the same thing with all the federal legislation and regulatory issues, where both of those boards were just talking about all those bills and things that are coming up through government, and we just try our best to educate the decision makers on how impactful those things are to our operations.
Are you guys feeling like it's at a place where it's feeling comfortable, or is it, you're always on edge trying to,
I think
worry
it's
about
now
what's coming?
to the point where you're always on edge, because you just, after 1383 and all the stuff before it, you are just waiting for like the next big one to hit. Honestly, that's how I feel now. There's always something.
So what's happened to you is people get together, they think it's a great idea that they create a new bill that now we're going to recycle and pull the parts out of this thing, and you guys are all going to comply with it, which we have a ton of that already. And every time they do that, there could be the one thing that's going to just not be able to, you're not going to be able to handle that change, right? Is that what you're worried about?
I mean, I think in my company, for us, like we will always, because it means so much to us, like we're going to do whatever it takes to, comply with, the California or federal law. Like that is, if that's what we need to do, we'll find a way to do it. Doesn't mean that we necessarily might not like it, but I mean, the family that, I grew up in is if you're required to do it, like you do it. Like, it's a part of your contract, you do everything that's in your contract. It's just, there is no other way around it. You know, we just do it, and we do it to the best of our ability, and we hope that it doesn't get, things don't even get crazier up there, but it is what it is. Like, again, we're also very unique. We're just the hauler. A lot of other companies, they might have transfer stations, material recovery facilities. We just pick up your material and take it to, someone else. So we are able to focus solely on providing great customer service. And I think that makes us unique from a lot of other companies that might have all those other operations and employees and procedures, because it's just, we're able to really hone in on just one thing, and that's taking care of the community.
How long is your current contract?
I believe our city contract goes into 2032. So we have a few years on there, and how that process usually works when it gets to a certain point. You go to the city, you talk about it, and then that's when the contract negotiations part of it starts, and then you really just, again, rework your whole entire contract for all those new state laws, for all those new operations. Like when 1383, came into compliance, you were required to do a contract amendment. So you had to, again, because it was a whole new state law, it wasn't in your previous one. So you had to, the city and us and our attorneys had to work together to be able to put all that new language into your contract, so that way you can submit it to the state and say that you're in compliance. So it's just one of those other things.
And are you finding, when you did it last time, was there other people trying to come in on your...
I mean, I think the solid waste industry, there's always going to be those other companies that, are going to be there. And that's why, my family and, our beliefs is, if we truly, put our heart and soul into our employees, which then in turn puts their heart and soul into our customers, that, our good work, will hopefully just speak for itself, and the city can keep trusting into us and believing in us to do all the things that we do for them.
Yeah, you've kind of hit on all of those things. People can't provide a high level service unless they're happy in their job, right? And they can only be happy in their job when they feel valued. And so it sounds like you guys are working really hard in that department.
Yeah, and again, and like I said, it's, it's about safety as well. It's about doing all the things you're asked to do, whether it's in your contract or not. Like we also just do a lot of stuff that we're not required to do. Again, like we don't have to give back to the community as much as we do. We don't have to do a lot of those things, but it's just in our core beliefs to do that. So
hit the mindset. That's the possibilities. Hit some of those things that you guys are involved in, because the list is too long to even. But just talk about some of your most impactful things that you enjoy. You guys are involved in everything, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, again, we always support, all of our 4-H and FFA kids every single year during the fair. They come in to my dad and I, we have them do a little presentation, talk about their animals. Every single year we go and support them on auction day, whether it's, giving add-ons or, something, to all the youth sports that come in and we help sponsor, for their teams. I mean, we rarely say no, where it's like 4th of July, we do a donation, Pioneer Day, we do a donation. I mean, it's really just, again, if it's going to benefit the community, we're going to want to support it and be involved in it.
And you're doing the trash at the you do trash at the Bearcat football games, right? You guys bring all the stuff out and provide those services.
Yeah, whether it's concerts in the park, certain events
Firestone,
for the city. Again, we're there to support all their services. Like
you're at everything.
Yeah, we're always there. Or whatever we can do to possibly help, we'll do it.
If you were giving someone advice, what's the mindset that you take and just that pushes you forward and propels you?
I would say the biggest advice, that my dad gave me that, I try to do is really just like karma based, right? You want to try to be a good person, treat others how you want to be treated, show up. Like my dad and I, like when our employees work all holidays except for 4 now, right? So like the office might not be there, but if our employees there, we're there. Like it's just being there, being supportive. It's for me, I have no excuse to like wake up and go to my 5 o'clock workout that we go together because I have employees that are commuting to our work that are there at 4:30 in the morning, working over 8 hours a day and then driving back and, going to their home or doing what else they need to do. Like I don't have any excuses not to show up and bring it. So it's just the advice that I would have to give to anyone is, again, just, try to be a good person, support other people where they need to be supported, be there, be on time, right? Just being open and honest. I think being transparent as a leader is really important. We talk about it with the football kids all the time. Like there's no sugarcoating things nowadays. Like being open and transparent, I think goes a lot. There's no hiding information. Like, when things aren't right, you need to address it. And a lot of those times, those conversations are tough to have, but those people deserve it. You deserve to tell them. And there's no, I got you moments. There's no, there's no hiding and scheming. There's none of that stuff exists in our organization. It's being straightforward, talking to everyone, and again, hopefully giving them the tools and support that they need to, in return, do the right things and, be a good person.
Sorry, off the camera, adding to this. I'm adding to what you don't just give back to the community, you also give back to all of your employees. And like, I was there for about 18 months before I was going through all my vision stuff and had to go through all my surgeries I needed to go through. But when I was not necessarily, let's just say, giving life 100%, and I don't know if I was looking for an out, but like I came to you and you found a solution for me to allow me to keep working and kind of like, and this is corny and cliche, but like genuinely putting like a form of hope in my life. And like that directly came from the Gomers. And it's not just a community thing. It rains down to your employees. And I know all your drivers, all the mechanics can like speak to the office, can speak to that. And I just didn't want that to go swept underneath in just a community thing because the leadership is there. I didn't play football, so I can't speak on that. But yeah, like thank you to you. And it's not just a front for the people. Like it is trickles down everywhere.
Yeah, again, I think I would start with like my grandpa. Like again, when my grandpa hired someone, like you weren't terminated. Like that wasn't an option. Like when you got brought into the family, business, you were a family employee. And then the same thing with my dad. Again, they're like, he's always encouraged our guys like, hey, if you can get a job with the city, be a fireman, a police officer, if you can go work for the state, like we're going to support you to go do that. Go be a correctional officer. Like we'll help you try to go get that job. Like we're always there for our employees, whatever means necessary. Like,
That brings up one of my favorite stories that I asked you about.
but thank you, Jake. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you made an impact on somebody without even knowing it. You
Yeah.
never knew that happened. So that's pretty damn cool. And gave someone hope. That's the greatest gift you can ever give anybody, belief and hope, right?
Yeah, again, we're not trying to, again, if you want to work for our company, like we're going to do everything we can to help that person out.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, the garbage industry is not for everyone. Like there's some people that work out and are with us for a long time, and some people move on to other opportunities. And it's really no hard feelings. We don't take it personal at all, because especially in our community, you're going to see that person at Calco's running the podcast, how many years from there. So it's, again, just one of our, core beliefs to, understand that people are people, and different part of your lives, whatever you're going through, we just try to understand it and be a good person about it whenever we can.
Yeah. Tell the story quickly that I already asked you about. Someone told it to me without you knowing. About your dad picking up a Bearcat and helping him out, and
so my dad's helped out a lot of people for a long time, but one of them was Don Parrish. Don Parrish was, again, he's in the Stanford Hall of Fame, right next to John Elway. He was a crazy, amazing athlete, from what I'm told. Again, I'm too young for that, but you just hear stories about what Don Parrish was able to do on the football field, on the baseball field at Lions, and he was a larger than life guy. But he went from there, got drafted into the NFL, had some injuries issues, and had a really bad stretch after that, where he was in LA, he was homeless, and somehow again he was in town. My dad found him, Mark found him, and they were able to get him into work. He helped us clean our cans. My dad got him housing. He got him on the concussion protocol stuff for the NFL. And my dad just went, he would drive him up to these appointments at UCF where they had the NFL like hub to get medical treatment. And he was able to have him get procedures. And again, it was just not because he was his own teammate, but he was a Bearcat. He was a community member. Our field at the high school is now named after Don Parrish. So I believe he's in the Hall of Fame at our high school as well. So again, it's just what my dad and my grandparents have done as well.
Yeah, deep caring for community is in your blood, dude.
Yep.
You can't get away from it. Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing, actually. It's something.
Yeah, and again,
it's
us,
inspiring.
Again, us Gomers, we usually we don't like talking about that. Again, like my dad doesn't like to talk about all the wonderful things he's done for the community and people, but it's because again, like we don't do it to tell a story about it or to get a gold star. It's just who we are and our roots, our beliefs. And that's just what we do.
Well, I appreciate you coming on just to talk about it, because I think for us, the beauty behind it and the goal that we set out for the podcast was to inspire people to not only hear about it, but do it themselves. Hopefully they're compelled to lend a hand or help people out. If they own a business and they're listening, they can do the same thing in their own business. And imagine what it would be like if we can just apply that principle to just a large number of different people and different businesses and people from walks of life. So,
yeah. And again, I think that's what makes Paso so special, because like you experienced it in your growth of the business. And in return, I mean, that's why on the chamber board, I nominated your business for like the beautification of the year, because you guys did it the right way, right? You took a building in this town that wasn't as cool as it should be in a downtown core spot, right? And you guys kept all the roots into it. You put your heart and soul into it, and you guys were good people, and you treated everyone the way that everyone was supposed to be treated. And in return, you guys have this amazing business, this amazing spot where all of us locals want to go to and hang out. So again, that's what Paso is all about. We have a ton of other companies, that are here that have the same stories as my dad does, that have been here a long time. And again, it's just a lot of caring for our community members. Yeah,
and you're right. And we feel the it's a positive pressure in a good way. We feel the I'm not thinking of the word we feel like we have to carry on that and make sure we take care of our people and have, we take the money that the community puts back into and we reinvest in, number one, our team.
Yep.
And then number two, the place that they come so they can see new things and, things being upgraded and, it's just putting back. And then we also invest in the community. Anytime someone asks, you just keep saying yes, because that's the way things are done around here. And you continue. Now you're looking for a new cause. So let's talk about it, because some people are not going to like this out there, but you are taking the lead on a bond here in Paso, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be leading a committee for some other members locally, but it's all about the school bond. And again, reading the next door comments, the Facebook comments.
Let's get it out right now.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of misinformation of like what the bond actually does. So I just wanted to address that here today. Like
Let's do it.
These are facility improvements. And again, I think the school district would say this, the last one, the pool took longer than anyone wanted to happen, but it got done. And I think a lot of lessons were learned. And from the plan that I have been told going forward, that if this thing were to pass, is going to be really smooth. There's going to be shovel-ready projects to go. And so how this one goes, again, it's bigger. But when you run all the numbers, it's $20-something a month. So to me, 20, whether that's a high 20 or a low 20, and again, don't come after me for the numbers, guys, on the comments or all that stuff. But I'm not the number guy for it. But I do want to talk about what the facility improvements actually have in that plan and why it's important to me.
Hold on, before you do that, I do want to just say the things that I'll say it in a more aggressive way, which is because you're very professional in your way, and now I'm the beer guy, so I used to live in that world. If you're out there and, I don't have kids in the school district, this man's kids go in there, and I will pay the money 100 times over, and here's why. The budgets working in education are not set up to build high quality facilities. They're not set up to overhaul your schools and upgrade them and bring them up to standards. They're set to run your day-to-day operations year in and year out. That's the way it goes. Otherwise, we would have schools all over that look like Taj Mahal, and we don't. Those are private schools, right? So you have to pass bonds in high quality communities to have just the best resources. And we all know this. At our work, if I can have access to the best resources and technology and fields and, things like that, I'm going to be more successful and put these kids in a position to be on the cutting edge. And you have to be. And so here's the bottom line. I know that there are going to be tons of comments like Isiah was alluding to and say, oh, they wasted money on this, they wasted money on that. But I want to say this clearly. That is an oversight that we have to be tighter on, and we have to make sure that the people there are trusted. The end result of the projects is still necessary. Those don't go away, and that pool is a beautiful thing. Whether you love the way the pool got there or you hate the way the pool got there, I don't think anyone in this area can deny that pool is a wonderful gift to the kids of Paso Robles and the community.
And to my point, let's just do a little reminder. The pool, as far as I know, for as long as the high school has existed, was at the, now Flamson Lewis location, where the kids had to either drive or get bussed over. They couldn't hold any meets or competitions at that because
no home play, no playoffs in water polo,
nothing of that stuff because again, and now they're able to with that bond money, and I think it's very similar to what this one has to do. Is again what our student population is. It's not going up. They're not planning for that. But if you go to the website, you look up the school master plan. You go all the way to the bottom for the high school and facilities of what this bond would go for. Again, tennis gets moved over. They get a new facility, which then opens up for their event center spot. The event center is a gym that actually can fit our whole entire school in it. And what's crazy is it will actually have AC in it. So again, for people that don't know, being a part of the football program for 10 plus years, we have all these restrictions through CIF now. And when it is too hot, we can't even practice. So we can't even go to the gym because the gym doesn't have AC as well. Like there needs to be this facility there that has it. But the nicest thing about what the bond does is every single one of these buildings is going to have a CTE program tied to it. So again, I talked about it at the school board meeting, and I prepped my little notes. I read off it. I didn't make good eye contact with anybody because I just wanted to really focus on this message that I had for everyone. But this hits on everything for the whole entire. If you go to Paso Robles High School, you're going to be benefited from this bond. What it doesn't mean you have to be a student athlete, and whether it's band to special education to whatever you might think about, you're going to now with this bond, when these phases are all completed, because you can't do it all at one time. But if we're able to pass this thing, all of the future kids are going to benefit from it, and it's going to be amazing. Again, the high school I wasn't born yet, but I believe they moved in there in the early 80s, and a lot of those early 80s stuff are still there. Again, I talked about it earlier today. That one planter box, we had no other place to eat. We just ate on the planter box. I'm at the high school every single year throughout the whole entire year. We do not have a campus that is conducive to what like the standards of schools are, just because again it's a 50-plus-year-old campus now, and things need to be changed. Another crazy thing to think about, and I talked about this at the school board meeting, I've traveled all throughout the state going to football programs. I'm pretty sure we're the only one that doesn't have some type of indoor-outdoor cafeteria. Our school doesn't have it, right? And this one would build a facility where you had indoor and outdoor seating for our students to actually have a meal at. I think that's important. It would be a part of the library, part of CTE programs, the culinary arts. We would be able to all have that on campus. That's something the campus has never had since its inception. So there's just all of these things that I believe are totally worth it. I'm passionate about it. The other thing I'm really passionate about is improvements to War Memorial Stadium. So same thing, War Memorial is substantially older than, really old compared to the high school.
Jake, look that up. How old is War Memorial?
I believe it was built in the 20s, but help me out on that. So again, from what my dad's told me, from what Mark Perry's told me, that's still the same stadium from there, right?
Well, I know the bleachers because when we had some money, and we wanted to I wanted to fix some of these steps because they're not even regulation.
No, they're not.
There's not rails appropriately. They just said you can't because you would have to do a retrofit on the entire thing, and it's there's no way we're gonna have the
part
money
of
for
this
that.
bond. Again, we get a new parking lot and upgrades, down below. It creates a new walkway up to the top. We're able to put in that ADA seating and stands now, for the facilities. And I'm coming at it. What do you got for us?
It says it was built in 1921.
1921.
Yep. So again,
as in just after World War One.
Yeah. So, again, my dad, he uses a walker now, and there is no way for him to really safely, at least in my opinion, safely even come to the football games anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Again, there is no handrails.
There are no handrails.
Again, that's the same bathroom that it has been there since I have been born going to Bearcat football, right? Yeah. All of these things are the same, and I think it is important for our community to be able to have easy access to show up to these games. Currently, again, I'm super biased. So again, if you're not a football or, you show up to the events, I'm sorry for this little rant here.
Well, it's not that, but it's band competitions there too. It's also
again,
graduation.
There's a lot of
the middle schools use it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but again, showing when my family shows up on a Friday night, right? They're in the dark, parking somewhere past Smart and Final. The curbs, they're in the road because there's no up and down for the stroller for our 3 kids, and they're going through all that stuff in there. And this whole entire thing, it would just really open up the accessibility for all of our older Bearcats that want to support us, for our families that show up. to be able to add that new parking lot, to drive up, to have all those ADA capabilities, to have, some new concessions, restrooms, facilities for it. I mean, the War Memorial, with all of those CIF championships that have been won, where when you see the photos of all of the games where, there's 10,000 people from Atascadero and Paso Robles that showed up to those games, it would just be nice to honor its history and giving it a little bit of love and bringing it for like just the next generation to come.
And also be a great monument to what it's named after, which is the war heroes as well, and put some nice plaques up and get
that was discussed at the last school board meeting. They had a new drawing of where they're going to be redoing the actual memorial for the people that we lost in the war. So that's going to be a really important part that's going to be, I think, hopefully done soon. But there's just, again, whether we're talking about the high school or a war memorial, these facilities are needed. Again, take it from a person that went to school there, has been actively there since 2012, coaching football.
And is going to be involved there for the next 18 years.
Yeah, again, as long as I can possibly do it.
Right.
It is something that I hope the community looks hard at and leans into supporting it, because it is really important. I mean, we need these things done. From my workforce development board, not saying that this would happen overnight, but I know that Cal Poly received $1 million grant from NASA, and from that, it's all about this inventory for precision manufacturing and technology. If we had a CTE classroom that had the electrical and all those capabilities, I'm assuming that we would be able to go to Cal Poly and get there and use their equipment from that grant from NASA. And then hopefully one of the days, with the city working on the spaceport, we would have a direct line from Paso, our students being able to work in that CTE classroom, then maybe able to go to Cal Poly, and from Cal Poly be able to go out to the spaceport. It's a natural fit, but we don't have the facilities to even make that happen right now.
Yep.
So
Amen.
There are a ton of pathways that the master plan has put into place, and I encourage people to please do your research, to look it up and find it in your hearts to be able to support this thing going forward.
And we can't allow, there's a pride element here. I feel like I care more than some of the people that, we should care. There's a pride element in there's a world-class wine industry here. This is a world-class place to live. We're investing in world-class programs with Cal Poly and NASA trying to get the spaceport going in here. And if I'm missing an industry, these things are growing. We have amazing restaurants, a beautiful downtown, a city that is drawing people everywhere, and we cannot have a school district that is not doing the same thing. Not,
and how we get there is by passing this bond.
Yeah.
And that's a big step.
And if you have a negative feeling towards the school district, I understand that's an easy, then we need to all be compelled to get involved and get better people if that's what we need. But that doesn't mean that we ignore it and bleed it dry of resources and treat it as if it's not important, because the future and the education is the utmost importance. And the future of education is changing. It's going to change.
Yeah.
And you've got to be on the cusp and be relevant to stay ahead of all these things that are coming.
And why, circling back, why am I passionate about this? It's because, my grandma was passionate about bringing the Boys and Girls Club here because that was going to benefit multi-generations of our youth in Paso. That's what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's what's compelling me to spend some time and energy on this, because this project will benefit multi-generations of future Bearcats going through the high school, and will give them hopefully the best opportunity to exceed, whether it's in CTE, athletics, whatever their path they choose, going to this high school. we owe it to our future generations to pass this and hopefully continue our strong Bearcat tradition.
All right, we're gonna get some more info for the people coming up. When does the official rollout happen? How can they keep their ear out?
There will be some when the group is officially formed. You'll have to like file through it. In California, get a treasurer and all that stuff. When all those things are formed, there's going to be a website made that we can have endorsements on, people, or supporters on it. It's going to list out all the improvements that are proposed through the bond. So it's going to be educational. But the biggest thing that I will be focusing on is hopefully, I'll go to Rotary, I'll do a Wake Up Paso, I will go wherever I need to go to talk to people on why this is important and why we should consider it. And hopefully, we can have an honest conversation of why these things are important for our community.
Well, you're the right guy for it because you're as invested as anyone can be, and then you're as diligent as anyone can be. On top of your HR skills, you're ready to go.
just please look at the master plan because of our school. I come at just from a community perspective. Like they're adding parking lots up in the school where my dad, when I was coaching freshman football, he wanted to show up to the game. Like you're parking all in the back of campus with everyone there and going up there. They're
it's crazy.
And even with the ADA spot, right? So in the master plan, there's, more parking up there for actually our community members to show up and be able to go to tennis, to Don Parrish Field, to go to the baseball field and just go up there and be up there and kind of spread all that congestion on top of all the improvements, on top of all the CTE, on top of all the amenities that our facilities desperately need. These are all things that everyone should care about.
And then just one more time for the people, where could they find this master plan to get all this information?
How I find it as I just type in Paso Robles, high school master plan and on Google.
Perfect.
But again, you can go to the school website and click a few things and it should be there. I know we'll
get some info out to you. Yeah,
I know they're working on making it easier to find and all that stuff. So it should be out there. And again,
they'll make a website. There'll be a
website. There will be easier stuff how to access the information. So that's all coming.
In my example, my very first job was in Kingsburg, California in 2003. I was an econ teacher there and a football coach. When you drive your team over to Kingsburg, a town of 10,000 people, give or take, and you pull into that beautiful parking lot and you walk into that stadium, there's a sense of pride there, right?
Yeah. When first time I went to Kingsburg and went into that press box, I was like, this is the nicest press box I've ever been into. They had a little cooler for me. It had some waters in there. Yeah. Kingsburg took care of you. The facilities were great. The people were really nice, and they really cared about their community.
It's a level of professionalism that we should have. And I don't want to diminish when I came here because I really do appreciate this about Paso Robles. The heartbeat of Paso, in my opinion, just from the outside coming in, who's working on being accepted. I feel like I'm getting there, but you got to earn it here. And I love that about this place because nothing worth having should be easy. Right. Yep. And so I do understand that, but, the beauty is when you take the old school mentality, and I know this is what I came into, we do less with more. We don't need nice things, right? We're tough people. And I actually love that. I don't want to lose that for us. But I also think that we do deserve to have really just high-level facilities as well. And I think that you can be both. I don't think you have to lose that. Yeah.
I think we can be both. Again, I don't think by adding ADA seating at War Memorial takes that history away, right? I think that just allows people to hopefully attend the games that they want to actually show up safely, right? Yep. And again, when that was something that was said on the football team when we got our weight room, right? When a weight room that had AC and we had a place where we actually could all lift at one time instead of a shed, that we're lifting in for the whole entire thing. The where I lifted at, being in the school, literally a roll up door that was used for maintenance. It was where we had all of our.
It was a mowing garage, dude.
Yeah. So that is where
And you had potholes in your field. And
And when we did up downs, everyone would be up downing to the one part of grass on the field, right?
Yep.
Because you were literally just getting dirt and rocks all day long. I don't think that's necessarily needed, and for our student athletes.
I love that you said that because I was a part of that change, and I take a lot of pride in that. Is I didn't love, turf fields. They were like, why are we putting in, what we would call it synthetic turf? But you don't have any fields. So that has to be used by the youth kids, the flag football kids, the soccer team, the football team. And
the wear and tear on it, you can just never maintain it. And again, that's why SLO, they've been redoing their grass field every single year, and they would keep everyone off of it, and it would never last a whole entire season. And that's why they just got turf on it.
That's why I did it. And they're doing it too. You have to do it. And it wasn't because it's what we're talking about. It's not because of any other reason than the kids deserve to be out there utilizing these facilities. The community deserves to be at War Memorial and be able to attend the games and be safe and be able to go to use the restroom and have it be, up to standards, and go to the snack bar that's nice and people can, go and access and have great things. And
yeah, again, I mean, I grew up going to War Memorial as a kid, and that place was packed. And, everyone in the town was there. But that being said, our downtown was a lot different back then, right? So we didn't have really anything but to go to Bearcat football on Friday nights.
yeah.
That's not the case anymore in Paso, and that's still okay. Like, again, I love all the economy and, the businesses and, people downtown getting supported. But a part of me believes that if these facilities were upgraded to actually be convenient for people to show up to and be involved in and have a little more open space and these better facilities, that, one day, hopefully we can pack that stadium again and have everyone have it be that enjoyable night that I went to as a kid, where you bring your family there, you go support the Bearcats, and you just have a good time.
Be careful, though. It's going to put the pressure on you, because then they're going to say you better win when you get in there.
I mean, the standard for Bearcat football is always to win.
Let's go.
No matter what. No matter if this thing doesn't pass or it doesn't happen, that's always going to be the standard. The lessons that we teach our kids are always going to be standard. I just think it's going to benefit the community, and it's going to just, again, bring that enjoyment, that pride back to War Memorial Stadium that it desperately needs.
All right. The bond is out there, and we'll get some more information. Take pride in your area. Do your research. I'm not trying to talk you into it. Everybody has their own financial situation. I understand that. But what I do compel you to do is, as somebody who tried to help or did help pass the other bond, get all of the information from everybody, because a lot of rumors run around, and then
and I can my 2 cents is, the comments on social media is probably not the best spot for them.
No. You shouldn't believe what you read on social media?
Yeah.
Good. Hey, that transitions us to thank you, by the way. Thank you for your commitment. I do want to, one last thing before I move to something funny, is all of the young people, like in your generation, I'm 48, so you're a little younger than me, but you're the next generation of Paso. And so people have to get on school boards. They've got to get involved. They've got to go into the city council meetings. They've got to run their businesses, because the things that we love about Paso, if we don't take the amount of pride that you have and also the responsibility, those things go away if other people don't, the next generation doesn't step up. And as you said, your dad, he's earned the right to not have to do that anymore. And so we have to take that serious as a group and get together, and whether we have to have meetings here that people can do or whatever we can do, we will do it, because it's about getting the information and then being the next legacy, like you said, to make our stamp on this beautiful place that you guys have allowed people like myself and my wife to come into, and then make it even better, right?
Yeah, again,
what's next? So that's a beautiful part, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. So I don't. Go ahead. What do you want to say on that?
It is just the final I have to say is just it. This is something that is desperately needed. It's not it is not this wild dream for it to happen. And all the reasons that you said are really true, but this stuff is absolutely needed for our kids and for our future. So just please consider it.
Yep. Vote for Isiah for school board member, by the way.
Yeah, again, I don't know
I'm trying to talk him into it. You're on here, you got to get involved at some point. He's not officially running, but if he does,
not running for anything right now. I'm really happy and all the other stuff I'm doing. And usually I'm still at practice when the school board meeting, starts going off. So that would be a conflict, I think, a little bit.
Maybe you can zoom in.
But to your point, there, I am part of that next generation of, families that have gone here, are running family businesses here. And you say it, I'll say it, it is almost a Robles responsibility for us next generation people to be involved. Whether, Riley, being part of REC to, so many other people, get involved in some type of organization, put your stamp on it, learn, educate yourself, and just donate your time. Because if more of us Paso Robles people that have been here can be involved in those type of things, we will continue to have a great community that we all want to live and support and be in.
Yep. Love it. Amen to that. On a side note, Jay, you can't leave because you guys got to coach me up on whatever you were talking about. What is this book I have to read? What do we got here? Dude, this is...
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I'm going to ask the outsider questions. Go ahead.
So actually here, I'll lean into it. So the kids don't even know this yet, but I have this blitz sheet that I'm working on for football, right? And I'm going to have code words and like numbers for everything. And right now it's off of my 3 favorite books.
Okay.
So number 1 is Harry Potter. That's an unknown fact about me.
Okay.
Harry Potter, Jim Dale, narrator, OG, right? First time I ever passed like 100% book test is Harry Potter in middle school. So
Knocked him out.
And 4 books in a row. I end up getting, some type of like movie ticket limo thing at Lewis Middle School from it. Just immediately got obsessed with Harry Potter. Number 2 has become Dungeon Crawler Carl. Number 3 is the Red Rising. So a lot of my code words for all my blitzes are going to be all the main characters from those 3 books that I will be wristbanding to all the kids this year.
You gotta have a blitz called like an Iron Rain or something like that.
Iron Rain. Dude, Jake's in on this too.
Oh yeah.
Is it Dungeon Crawler Carl and what?
So again, I'm a big audiobook guy. That's how I really learn. So I would probably tell my kids not to read Dungeon Crawler Carl right now. Just because, again, it does push some narration, and
I think
it's okay. It's
what
not
age would you think it's appropriate?
I think it's a perfect high school book. It's got the like humor. So
it is really funny.
It's really funny, but then it has those deep levels that any adult can relate to.
Okay.
The hard thing I think for like a younger kid would be like, they mention a lot of social, like shows that we grew up on and might know.
That's true.
I think,
That's true. Gremlins, there's a lot of
callbacks. There is some like references to Gossip Girl, which was my wife's favorite series growing up.
XOXO.
Did your wife read the book too?
Everyone in my family and the Binkley family is obsessed with Dungeon Crawler Carl. Book 8 came out. But again, I'm a big audio guy, and listening to it. Jeff Hayes is an amazing narrator.
Does every single voice for over 100 plus characters, and it's like each one is distinct. You could hear it.
He's amazing. Yeah. And the commentary is really funny.
How long is it?
The 8th book just came out last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
In May.
Yeah, it's a mixture. Like, how would you explain it if you were to sell this to someone?
Because I'm out here. You guys are going off.
You're to not give anything away.
Don't give anything away, but give us
how the first book starts is Carl, the main character, his cat jumps out the window. He's outside, and then the whole world gets smushed. Right,
100%.
Everything is gone.
They're all minerals.
A speaker comes over like a PA saying like, you have 2 options. You can stay out here and survive, or you go into the dungeon. So
inside your head, like a AI system, but it's
Carl and his cat go into the dungeon, and it turns into the whole entire galaxy is watching it, and it's a game.
All galaxies.
So it turns into like real people being in a video game. You know, you have to do stuff, you level up, you get gear. So if you ever, played any video games growing up, you'll be able to follow along because you have a HUD. Like, there's a lot of things that you kind of have to be a video guy, to like understand. But yeah, they go through all the levels of the dungeon, and
if Squid Games were televised, this is what the people would be watching.
Yes,
but as you progress, you get magical eye, like Carl's
like
famous
a live,
thing,
galaxy-wide live Squid Games type of vibe.
And he wears these boxers that have hearts on them, but he can't take them off because the stats are just so good. So he walks around in his boxers with a leather jacket,
no shoes,
no shoes.
And then his cat gets a
Princess Donut,
gets a pet biscuit. I mean, we're already giving away the big surprise in book 1, but she becomes like the second main character. Her voice is absolutely hilarious. Everything that she says and does for the book.
Hey, once again, for the people at home, I'm the only one drinking on this set right now, and these guys are tripping me out.
But and
it sounds like you two are drunk.
I recommend the audiobook. If you like Family Guy, that kind of humor, Seth MacFarlane, the creator of those shows, just bought the rights and is making a TV show of this book.
And there are 8 books?
There's 8 books now, and there's probably going to be a couple more.
What do you like about them?
At least 2 more.
You were saying to me earlier, you can't even imagine the way that it turns.
Again, reading, I level like the series of books. That's why I get into, and I go really hard into them. And a lot of times in books, you kind of know where it's going. Like, nothing's happening. Even when I read, my Georgia made me read Fourth Wing. Like, I know nothing's happened in this book for a while, right?
I read that one.
I know they're getting on the dragon, and something bad's gonna happen here, right? It's gonna happen,
right?
In Dungeon Crawler Crawl, you have no idea on any given time what is going to happen. You can't predict it. The turns and ups and downs that happen throughout the whole entire book are crazy. So that's why I really appreciate it, and that's really similar to why I like Red Rising a lot too, because
my favorite book series.
The Red Rising series.
Red Rising is a whole different set.
Yeah, it's
a 180.
Okay.
Just.
And again, how Red Rising starts in the first book to what the last book was, I mean, it's 1,000 times different.
100%.
So you show up to Red Rising, it's this awesome, again, you're on Mars, right? You go to this place, you have to participate in, again, a game that they kill each other.
The institution.
So there's always a lot of violence in all these books.
Yeah,
there's a lot of classworks, kind of like in Hogwarts, you have your houses, but then it's a Hunger Games where it is survival. But you're being watched by the upper elites necessarily. So this school, everything you're doing, the choices you make based on where you choose to set up camp or something, and why you chose that place. It's all being studied because these so to speak generals and every upper echelon job you could think of, they're scouting you.
If you survive the games, right, the people that do the best get to go to the best, family houses and, do all that stuff. But again, it just keeps turning 180 throughout the whole entire book and getting bigger and bigger, throughout the galaxy and planets and wars and just crazy stuff that has happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, Red Rising's pretty awesome. Again, I talked to Jake about it. Book 4 is a little rough.
Book 4 is very rough.
But you have to grind through it because 5 and 6 are hard to put down.
6 is the greatest book I've ever read. Lightbringer.
Lightbringer is next level.
Lightbringer is insane. Right, but book 4 is so important because it just... So the first 3 books set the world kind of for what it is and the story of Darrow. And then from there, So the whole first 3 books are from Darrow, the main character's perspective. And then from book 4 and on, it changes perspective from different sides of every coin. But this coin has 6 sides. So you're getting just different opinions on how they view the world.
You're hearing about as the book goes on, you're hearing about the bad guys of what they're doing, about the good guys, about
and it's all perspective.
People.
Everyone's right, which is the hard part of the book, where not everyone's right, but everyone has their reasonings that make sense. And it's it's justified, and it's also from the first trilogy. Without spoiling, you are seeing why things worked and then why things didn't work, and so it's really cool to see how, from a main character's perspective, when say like Harry Potter, right? He's got to defeat Voldemort. Well, what happens when you defeat Voldemort? Is it better? Is it worse?
It's
Bad
over.
Bad
Yeah,
example
no,
because
it's
Voldemort
over.
being gone is spoiler. Voldemort didn't make it.
But
We were glad that he's not there anymore.
who's your favorite character?
Out of all of them,
Yeah.
or in Red Rising.
No, out of all of that, who is your favorite character? Just
yeah, that's all tough. That's really tough.
Cassius Abalona.
and why?
Whoa, there's a lot of spoilers
But
in there.
take me through the
Cassius
character.
Bologna
Why did it speak to you?
is
Don't say anything.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't say
Well,
anything.
not that. Just
he is this
generally.
Yeah, Cassius Bologna to me is my favorite character because he is this representation of the expectations so he grows up in a house in a gold. Gold is the highest rank you can kind of be as a family, and he grows up
Like the
as,
Gomers?
No, so in Red Rising, everyone is classified as a color. So like the golds are like the superior genetic human beings.
They've been modified, so like
You
they're
know,
genetically superior.
The reds are
Not the trash
you know,
dogs.
No, yeah, like
Reds
the
are
reds,
slaves.
the slave, the miners that mine all the helium out of the planet. Then you have like your your browns, your greens. Like the blues operate all the naval, starship systems. Like you have all these different colors that has built out society, and the Rising is like trying to break all those colors.
break the chains.
You guys are
Famous
on
quote.
it right now.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, Cassius just loyalty. Loyalty is my favorite
There you
trait in
go.
anyone, and that's just
What about you? Person and their characteristic.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to say again. Like growing up, getting obsessed with Harry Potter, all of those characters are all like so different from one another. Again, what Georgia and I talk about for DCC is like we don't necessarily have a favorite character, but we have a favorite narration and like the way someone talks about it. And like Georgia and I's one of our favorite one is the lawyer in it, Quasar. His commentary and the way he speaks is absolutely hilarious. And then again, Red Rising, I think, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to not be a Darrow guy, but Severo is also probably, I'd probably have to give it to Severo.
my Red Rising. Also, Victor and Mustang. The way the women are portrayed in this, they are just better than all the men. Like
They're badasses.
They are badasses.
It's
Yep.
called the Cow Coast Beer Company.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, you
That was
gave
all. Thank
the
you for,
people.
I'm so happy to talk about
You
that.
gave the people something to
appreciate
do. And what's our time right now? He wanted to beat Joe Rogan. 2 hours, dude. You hit it. You hit
Whoa.
the time. That has to be the longest one. Two something right there. Yeah, there you go. All right, rapid fire at the end.
All right.
This is between 2 pints because I drank 2 point something.
There you go.
All right, just some funny questions. Just I need the answer to. Is there a chance you could ever attend a meeting with no agenda?
No. Yeah. Again, took too many classes on time management, right? Like you got to have an agenda. You kind of have to prep the agenda. Kind of need to know how long your meeting is going to keep things going smoothly and make sure you're like hitting everything. Because again, that's one of like, especially with the changer when we had some like, serious topics to discuss, like it's, you need to fully talk about those topics, but you still have all those other things you kind of have to address too. So got to have an agenda. You need the agenda.
What's your number one meeting pet peeve?
Being on time. No, that was my chamber one because I just wanted to make sure all you guys got there. I would say my number one pet peeve is kind of have to read the materials before you show up. Again, you don't necessarily have to read like all of the minutes, for the day before, but it's good to do that. But you kind of need to open up the packet, see what's in there for the day. Because to me, especially like workforce development board, whatever we do, you need to know what you're being talked about today. So that way, when you do have comments and an open discussion about it, you can bring something valuable, to it. So you have to open up that packet and, give it a little look over before you show up to that meeting.
All right. How do you feel about a new Bearcat logo?
No comment. Yeah.
Are you open to new logos?
I mean, I'm always going to be an OG Bearcat guy. It's hard for me to.
It's paining him to talk right now.
Yeah, but yeah, no. It's I'm always going to be rocking the OG Bearcat. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my childhood. That's my dad's Bearcat, right? Like you can't get away from that. Now
Don't be messing with the Bearcat.
the mascot Bearcat, so that can be
Can
changed.
we upgrade that soon?
That can be changed anytime. We can change up the mascot Bearcats.
Dude, can we? Here,
Can I ask a question?
Go.
So, okay, not to put you on the spot, but with that mentality, do you think people that don't want to change the school board, like how would you compare with change? Because that's kind of what it is, right? The people that want to stay old school.
Yeah,
My bad. I sorry.
No, again, so
Sorry.
again, the logo, like just take the logo, right? Like that's not. I mean, it can be whatever it is. It's not going to like really. It's not going to like change me emotionally or physically and all that other stuff, right? But when we actually put money into our facilities, for our future and that stuff, like that's completely different to me. So again,
And
you can change the PR. Again, the PR, the Bearcat, whatever it is, it's like that's not going to define us. That's not going to impact us. It's the people there. It's the facilities there. Those are things that on a daily basis we see use, and the kids and the students are gonna benefit from it.
that's a good answer. I
Yeah.
like that.
Again,
Because you can keep the
Again,
old one can always remember the upgraded way now, Oregon brought it in. Now people have 100 uniforms,
Yeah,
right? They have
again, you can change up the Bearcat as much as you want.
But it's sensitive around here. It is sensitive.
Coach Stroud, had the PR that had the lines under it. Sometimes we there's been different PR fonts. I mean, if you want to be, crazy with it, the color of our high school has changed so much. I mean, if you look at old film from back in the day, again, Alabama owns the right to crimson, I think, still today.
They do. That is correct.
It's just them.
Pantone, whatever it is.
Depending
301.
on whatever manufacturer that, the school is using for, each one of our sports programs, I think they've been working on it throughout the whole entire years, but there's always going to be some variation on there. So the Bearcat, the logo, that's not going to hurt anyone.
You just hit me. That's my next one. All right. I love it. Crimson or maroon?
So maroon gets a little too purpley, I think, for me, right? I think it's a little too, so I rather lean towards the redder side of things than the purple side of things.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Alabama, not Minnesota Vikings. No, Minnesota Golden Gophers. There you go.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, again,
All right.
the Gophers are, the brown and that color. Yeah, we want to stay away from that.
Number one college hockey team in the world.
There you go. Row the boat. Do you is Sopranos mandatory watching when you hire someone?
No. Yeah. Again, I mean, I haven't even watched all the Sopranos because again, I can't watch Succession or any of those things because being in a family company, why would I watch something that I just spent 8 hours at, during that day?
All right.
So I'm one of those guys.
Forget
where
about it.
I cannot, one of my mentors, Larry Benatti, he's a big Godfather guy, the mafia and all that stuff. I can't watch that stuff. That's a funny story for that. When my grandparents moved here, there was in Crescent this big Arabian horse guy, and he assumed that my grandpa was in the mafia, so he gave my grandpa a horse as a peace treaty thing when they moved into town.
But the horse was not in his bed. It was alive.
There
and
you go. City Limits is the horse that I grew up with my whole entire childhood, and he lived on our property for 28 years.
Okay.
So yeah, he was an amazing horse. That was my favorite horse growing up. So,
Okay. Is it
the
true?
mafia is still out there?
It's there. Do you know where the bodies are?
No, no, they're not in California. Luckily, I don't think they
Not a lot of mafia in the Central Coast.
They made it. Yeah, they made it to Nevada, but I don't think they ended up getting into the solid waste in California.
Is it true? Next question. Is it true your family hangs out with the Kardashians?
There is Kardashians that live in Paso Robles. They are relatives of those Kardashians. So
And
yeah,
they're your friends, huh?
they are our friends. Yep.
Except this one has a handlebar mustache, right?
Yes, they have great mustaches.
Oh, there you go.
They have the best mustaches in the county. That's
All right.
by far.
Can you name the things that actually can be acceptable in my recycling bin?
So here's what you need to start with, all right? And this is your public service announcement. You guys can download our Paso Robles Waste app, right? You put your address into there. I just got this updated. In our app, it is now linked to the San Luis Obispo County Waste Wizard. So in there, you can type in any item that you're curious about, and it's going to tell you if it's recyclable, trash, organics. But the best way to start about it, if it's a paper, it's going to go in there, right? If it's cardboard, it's going in there. Glass and aluminum, those type of things are good. It's when we get into the plastics that it gets tricky.
Can you name them, though? Like, give me some household items. Okay, I'll give you some. Pizza box.
Use the app. It'll tell you. All right.
Dude, he's scared.
The
pizza box, Jake, is the most confusing one because they say cardboard, but my cardboard has cheese and pepperoni on it. So the cheese and pepperoni has to go into the green waste.
Yeah, so
right?
Again,
but the cardboard goes into recycling.
Starting, in 2011 stuff when I was the recycling coordinator, we usually would have rules for what is and what is not recyclable that year. I would go to the schools, talk to the kids. I would do all the, public outreach and education for it. But then this thing happened called the National Sword. We're in China and all these other places.
The National Sword?
Yeah. They stopped taking all of our recyclable materials anymore, right? They reduced all the contamination rates. So since that point of time in the solid waste industry, the recycle market's changed. Because what is something recyclable? It's something that if someone's ultimately going to buy to make into something new again, right? So you have to have a market for it. That market changes all the time now. So that's why we a bunch of years ago went through the county, through the IWMA, and now we have one source for all of our education and our public outreach, and that's through their website and the Waste Wizard. That's now linked to our app, and you can do a bunch of other stuff in our app. But the information it changes. It changes all the time because when markets change, what we have to tell people to change. So I have this weird paranoid thing of telling people all the time what is and what's not.
Yeah.
Because it could change. It literally the markets could change. What I'd be saying on here in a month time could not be accurate anymore. So we use the app, go to the IWMA, use our app. Call us up.
The HR and you pass that with flying colors.
Yeah. So just look it up. Again, call our office, email us, whatever you need to do. But we have the resources out there for you guys to type it in, find it out, figure out what can it goes into.
All right, craziest thing that someone threw away that they shouldn't. Or people throw away.
You want the craziest stories?
Please, just crazy stuff.
In the county, I would say animals. Those we do not usually want those. There is a large fee.
As in deer that get hit.
Yeah. There is a fee that we charge onto your account if it find it in your dumpster, and because the landfill charges us to that. I would say the craziest thing that has happened to us is. I wouldn't even want to talk about it because I'd be talking about a customer because it was an accident. The one I could probably tell you would be there was a situation at the CVS where one of their employees put a bunch of chemicals that they weren't supposed to be out, and it got dumped in one of our containers and it immediately started combusting and exploding.
Oh, you started fire.
In the back of the truck. So why we can't collect hazardous waste, why we can't collect some of that stuff, because when those things, why we can't collect batteries, right? Those things go into our truck. We have the compactor that compacts that stuff throughout the whole entire day. As soon as that thing goes in there, you're immediately catching something on fire and spontaneously combusting. So there is a reason why we don't do, the liquids and the hazardous waste and all that stuff, because it does put your building, our employees, our equipment immediately at rest when you put those bad stuff in there.
Okay. We're not going to do it then.
Don't do it.
All right,
Don't put any chemicals in your container, please.
All right. Well, I think you nailed it, man. I'm out of questions, and we went over 2 hours, so I think you did your job, and I appreciate you coming on. We got the bond out there.
Yeah, we'll come back and we'll do another 2 hours sometime.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. I'm in. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.